The following is a Sports Ethos presentation. Yo, welcome to another episode of Roundball Ramble. I'm your host, Corbin Ford. You can follow me on Twitter at CorbinNBA. This is a Sports Ethos presentation, as I shared, so check out Sports Ethos on Twitter at Sports Ethos, SportsEthos. Had to make sure I knew how to spell Sports Ethos. Or online, sportsethos.com. Today is yet another ensemble cast. That's right, I am joined by my friends Kelsley and Alicia for another episode of Let's Ball Out. We covered everything I would cover here on Roundball Ramble. That includes a little bit of a trade deadline primer, as well as a discussion on the All-Star starters, what we liked, what we did not like, what we were kind of surprised by, Andrew Wiggins cough, as well as just a brief look at who we expect to be reserves and who we would be upset if they were not to make the All-Star reserves team. It was a lot of fun, great conversation, full of good energy and great insight from my buddies, as well as myself, so I'll give myself some credit there. So definitely make sure to enjoy that. We'll be back with the regular scheduled programming coming up, but definitely want you to enjoy yet another edition of Let's Ball Out. So sit back, relax, enjoy your Wednesday. We are midway through the week into our second day of the month. Basketball is still good. We are just over a week away from the NBA trade deadline, which will be a blast. I am projecting that positivity out into the world, so let's make that happen. Let's ball out, and until next time, y'all, I am Frosty. Y'all stay frosty, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, y'all. What is up, everyone? Welcome to yet another episode. This got to be number 5, or I think it's 5, of Let's Ball Out. I'm Corbin, one part of the just terrific trifecta here. I am joined, as always, by my people, Kelsley and Alicia. How y'all doing this week?
Blessed and highly favored.
Amen, brother. Amen.
We're airing this on Sunday. No, I'm playing.
Right, literally.
that is good, though. That's good. No, I'm much the same way. I didn't quite use those words. I'm not as eloquent there, but it's been a good week. It's been a good week for the most part. We got to start. We're not going to start with me. We're not going to do this. I need positivity to start. So whichever person they know they team, we doing our favorite team check-ins. We got the Knicks, we got the Heat, we got the Lakers. Let's just start. Let's start with the Heat. We did the Knicks Bing Bong last week. So let's give the Heat some love first. Then we'll do Alicia, and then we'll do the Lakers update as quickly and painlessly as possible.
Well, the Heat are enjoying a 3-game losing streak right now. Tough back-to-backs. One against Toronto, triple overtime. I think there's a lot good that was done in that game, especially it being off of a back-to-back. But it was very disappointing to go to Boston and really it wasn't a game after the third quarter. And then I anticipated Miami to come back today and get some revenge on the Toronto Raptors. But that didn't happen as well. But I'm not sweating it. Kyle Lowry still has not been in the lineup due to, private reasons. I'm assuming it has something to do with a family member, but, something that is definitely bigger than basketball. But as a Heat fan, we're still number 2, probably number 3. The first 5 seeds are like within a game and a half of each other. So it's not like we're losing any ground. And again, the less people that are out, that gives opportunity for more people to step in, and we've been seeing it all year round. So I'm not tripping about the Heat, even though they have a 3-game losing streak. We're good over here in Miami. What about staying clear of the open door, closing doors, please?
Oh my gosh, it's like When it rains, it pours. I guess when it snows, I don't know what the fuck the word to say is, but when it snows, it just falls all the way down. It's a blizzard out here. We are currently number 11 in the East. We just won against the Kings, which woohoo.
Right.
We have Ja tomorrow, so I'm interested to see how that goes. But you know, I was optimistic about this team because of the success that they had last year, bringing back most of the pieces, but then also adding, Kemba, Evan. Like we had pieces and now adding Cam, but now Cam is not even going to be a part of the rotation according to Tibbs. So now I'm even more confused on what the actual goal is. What are they doing? Like I know Tibbs is a guy who loves to run his players to the ground, but in a way that he seems fit. Like he likes defense. That's his game. So I just don't know what to expect from this team. We're clearly not going to make the playoffs this season. I'm just calling it now. I'm going to just spare my feelings right now in February. And I'm just going to say we're not going to make the playoffs. And that's really sad because I really wanted to see progression. Like that's one thing that the Knicks just don't have is consistency and progression in every single season. So we take one step forward, we take 5 back. And honestly, because the East is so close, I wish that people would have stepped up more, i.e. Julius Randle. I wish Obi Toppin would play a little bit more. I hope Kemba would give us a little bit more, but it's just been so up and down that I can't even call it right now. So I'm just now a regular confused Knicks fan as I've been for the past 20 plus years of my life. I just don't know what to take with this team.
Alicia, my mom watches a lot of Knicks games, and one thing she pointed out to me, and I got the opportunity to actually see it firsthand. Your bench is great. I mean, your bench actually gives your team life, right? You're talking about the Quickleys of the world, Obi, who is an energizer bunny coming off the bench, and they don't play a lot. And another thing that is alarming me too. Forget Fournier because we're obviously seeing that the Fournier situation is a bust. Even though unless it's the Celtics, I mean, he loves the Celtics for some reason, but Kemba Walker is not even attempting a lot of shots. It's one thing if you have a quiet 9 points, and you shot the ball 15 times and it just wasn't your day. He's getting 9 points off of 5 attempts, not getting enough. I mean, there's one guy in particular that has been shooting the ball a little bit too much. And I know he feels like the world is on top of his back because New York is a pressure market. And Julius Randle to the point where he doesn't even want to talk to media, right? Um, it's a messed up situation, and
I think let's start with Kemba. I think Kemba having come back to New York, he wanted to succeed right away, and going off of the season that they had last year, getting in the playoffs, winning a game in the playoffs, that's something in New York, right? So it's like he's coming off of that energy and the excitement of all of the fans. And then I think for him to go through the ups and downs so far, and it's so early with being benched and having to come back and having to adjust his game and, him not playing well on one side of the floor, I think mentally Kemba has to go through to see what exactly is his role on this team and moving forward, how he can still be offensively Kemba, because we know that Kemba can get to the paint, score, help his teammates. Kemba just needs to find his rhythm. And I don't know with him being so in and out of the lineup that he's ever going to this season, to be honest. And with Randle, he's just not shooting as well as he was last season. Let's be honest. Like Randle was, shooting better, and he had a little bit more of a different energy. And I think that with New York, and I don't want to say turning on them, I just want to say New York being New York, he has to understand that this is not, when you're coming in as a superstar, especially in the Mecca, people are going to expect way more than what you would have expected in any other city out there. And that's just the bottom line. Like there's other cities out there that are great, but especially in New York, he's going to hear it on the streets. He's going to hear it if he goes to some random club. Like people are going to get in your ass. And I don't know if Julius was ready to be a complete superstar. Now, he's not a long-term fit for us. I'm sorry. Like, he's just not the superstar that I don't even know if superstar is the right word. I don't think he's the correct star to be fit in this role. And I don't know where we go next because, we're always playing the free agency game. Well, who's going to be the next top free agent? Who can we get to come and be, the next savior? And honestly, I just feel like it's just a purgatory of us just being in this space. So it's hard for me even to feel bad for Randall, honestly. Like, he just has to play better. He has to get out of his funk, but also he needs to learn that you need to do your job. Part of doing your job is showing up and speaking to media, even if you have an off day. You telling fans to shut the F up is not going to help you any further. I'm sorry. Like, you put that on yourself. So now you have to deal with the consequences. You want to play a big boys game, you're going to have to pull up your big boy pants and do what the fuck you got to do. That's just the bottom line. And I just think that we have to set realistic expectations. And right now, we're not looking good. We're not going to make the playoffs. There's a lot of teams in the East that have gone way above us that I never expected, i.e. Cleveland. Like, I didn't even expect to see what I've seen from Cleveland this season. So, listen, the Knicks are Dixon. That's all I got for you. I ain't got no
more. It's the culture, man. I think it's the culture, even though I see it starting to change under the direction of Leon Rose and what he has in his own, pedigree as far as like his own career and being a sports agent and stuff like that. I definitely think that it sucks because the Knicks have trade assets, but it seems like when you go to the Knicks, your trade value continuously goes down. It's almost like a lose-lose situation. And Kemba, you can't trade Kemba for what you really would want to get for him. Fournier, that ship has so long sailed. And even like a guy that has some young promise in Mitchell Robinson. I mean, I thought Mitchell Robinson would be somebody that would really be a key catalyst to, the Knicks' success and somebody they were kind of missing last year a little bit. So there's something within the culture, which is why, what makes the Miami Heat so special, because when you're looking at the front office, I mean, some of these guys have been there since 1990. And everybody's on the right same page, you know what I mean? So when that gets uprooted, I don't know if it has to be a sell of the team. Dolan, hello.
Well, I just want to say, the one main fixture that we've had is that Dolan man that's been sitting front and center at the games, who has been the owner, who owns the TV network and MSG, honestly, and he has been a part of what I call the shit show for the past 20 years that he's been owning the team. So it starts from there. And as much as we want to change, we got Leon Rose, we got Worldwide West, we have Tibbs. Things seem to be going in a direction, but it has to come together on the court. And I don't see that happening right now. But I want to transition over to Corbin's team because his team hasn't been looking very well either. So we're gonna go to the other side of the coast to kind of Corbin. You're shaking your head like really? You don't want to start this conversation.
Listen, I feel like I want to be Chris Paul right now. I want to just give the assist. We don't got to talk about me. We don't got to worry about me. We don't got to worry about what's going on with LA. But if we must talk about LA, listen, y'all, it hasn't been great. All right, it's not been great. We went on a road trip, a tough road trip, I might say, against some good playoff opponents, shorthanded without LeBron James. It just so happened that we lost the last 3 of those games. We got smacked by the 76ers. We lost a tough one to the Hornets, even though Russell Westbrook played a tremendous game, I might add. And then we lost a game to the Hawks that I really feel bad about. We shot, 61% from the field at half. And we lost a shootout. And that's kind of disappointing because we're an offensive team. That was what I thought. So if you can't even beat teams at the offensive part of the game and we have no hope playing defense, then it's not great. So it's not looking too good. I mean, we have the Blazers tomorrow. There's a chance. I mean, they don't have Dame, who usually kills us in games like this. Then we have the Clippers and then the Knicks. I think we can win those games. We really don't have a choice. But then you got the Bucks, the Blazers against the Warriors, the Jazz. There's going to be some tough games coming up. I'm really worried about LeBron's knee. There's been 3 games now with knee irritation and swelling. He's ruled out of tonight's game by the time y'all listen to this with the Blazers, so that's not super great. It's not great right now. I don't know what to say. Anthony Davis came back. That's a bright spot. Malik Monk has taken the starting small forward role, and he's been playing really well. But even that's almost a bad thing because he can almost play too well, and then we can't afford to keep him next year. So it's kind of an issue there. I don't even really know what to say except that I am not going to wave the white flag because we are not the Knicks. We are better. We're the Lakers. And I think as long as we have the best player in the world, and his name isn't Julius Randle, that we will make the playoffs at least. But I do now have to think that maybe it's going to be a repeat of last year. I didn't think that, but I'm starting to think maybe us making the playoffs is making the play-in, then winning that game much closer than 1-2, and losing to a better team because we never get healthy. I mean, Russ has been the only guy to play every game so far. You know, AD's been out, LeBron's in. Now LeBron's back, AD's out. Now AD's back in, LeBron's out. Like, we can't get the guys in sync. It's almost like, and I hate to say this, but like the Brooklyn Nets, where and when they have KD, Kyrie, James Harden, what if they don't? You know, what if that doesn't happen? And I'm starting to think maybe with the Lakers, like, what if we don't get all three together? And if that's the case, then yikes.
Well, that's on you, brother. That's not on us.
Wow. Okay.
And your team. Because did you want to throw shots at other people? I might add that you at one point were rooting for Julius Randle a couple years ago when he was one of them little baby Lakers.
Listen,
revisionist history.
Listen.
Okay, all right.
He left us.
Wrap it up. We're gonna go on to the All-Star team.
All right. Wow.
Okay. I hate that.
Let's go to All-Star stuff. Wow, I can't read the last word. Crazy. Anyways, all right. All-Star starters.
It's the battle of the two biggest markets.
Yeah.
And you know who's always going to win, though, Kelsley. Like, you already know what time it is over here. You already know who's always going to win.
Oh, my God.
Always going to get the last word and always is going to win. Like, you already 3 hours ahead.
Until playoff time.
Like, are you dumb? Anyway.
All right. We're going to the All-Star game starters. Fine. We got them. We're going to break it down on the East. We got team? I think it's Team Durant. Yeah. Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Trae Young, and DeMar DeRozan. For the West, Team LeBron, we got LeBron, of course, from the Lakers, I'm at it. Nikola Jokic, Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, and Ja Morant. So these are the starters. We're going to get the reserves coming in sometime next week.
This week.
Or sometime this week. Sorry, Thursday. You're right. Forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. Slipping. Next week's trade deadline. There we go. That's the event. All right. With that being said, let's talk about it. What do we like? What do we not like? Who do we expect to be on that list? Were there any surprises on that list? Let's shoot over to Kelsley and go from there.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins, I'm sure there's a lot of people that's been talking about it. Andrew Wiggins was definitely a shock. I mean, he's been having a heck of a year. And I think he's definitely deserves to be an all-star. But as far as a starter, I mean, when you're looking at it's so unfortunate. You're looking at a Devin Booker who's having a heck of a year, even though that is not really a forward. But I mean, a wing is a wing. If it could be a shooting guard or a small forward, it's still a wing. And I think they should change. I think they should change it to, I don't know. You can't really change just to point guards and then wings. It's kind of a sticky situation. But yeah, Andrew Wiggins definitely surprised me. We all know that Curry is going to be there. Of course, Bronny Bron. He's doing his thing. But the big shock, though, for me has to be Andrew Wiggins. Heck of a year, though. He definitely deserves to be an all-star. But as far as being a starter is concerned, that's kind of questionable. It's kind of shaky, my lord.
I have to agree with that. I think I didn't watch the pregame show that they had to set up the, announcement of it. So when I saw the news after, I'm like, Andrew Wiggins, who? Like, what? But honestly, that's a great story for him going back to Cleveland where he was drafted, being an all-star starter, like not just a reserve, but being a starter and having meaningful minutes on a team that is on pace to win a championship. I don't think I don't know, I'm just saying I never called that for Andrew Wiggins. Like, I didn't see that happening in his future in being, before the start of the season, to be honest, because he was one of the ones who didn't want to get vaccinated and probably was going to risk playing this season. So the fact that he did what he was supposed to do in terms of, getting the shot and then playing so well. And, now them having Clay in and out, but them having Clay back. I mean, I'm shocked at Andrew Wiggins being a starter, but congratulations to him going back to Cleveland and, being a starter. I just think that there's just a disconnect with the fans. I have a question to you guys about the fan votes. Like, I get it. People are watching the games and, a lot of teams have, I wouldn't say grown in fan bases over the past couple of seasons, especially the Warriors. So not to say that they didn't deserve it or whatever, but how do you feel about the fan vote and the way it goes? Because this is not the first time that the fan vote has kind of just put somebody in. It's just like, all right, what is this here?
Well, I mean, I like the 25-25 for the players. Is it coaches
and then media,
and then 50% for and media, right? And then 50% for the fan vote. Let's not forget, Andrew Wiggins is a Canadian, and you're talking about a whole country, right? Potentially pulling for him. That can make things difficult. But at the same time, too, he did put in his work, and I'm sure there's some people, some players, fellow peers that voted for him to be a starter. Maybe because of the things that he may do, the intangibles that you don't necessarily see on the stat line, because he's been the Warriors are one of the best defenses in the league, right? And it's not because of Steph Curry. It's just, I'm just keeping it real, right? Most of it has to do with Draymond Green, and even with Draymond's absence, they still are able to play to a level to where they're extremely respectable. But yeah, the fan voting thing, I mean, you want the fans to be feeling like they have some type of say, because MVP, they don't really have any say for that, right? This is like the only thing that, when you're talking about fan interaction, this is the closest thing that you can do as a fan. I found out the other day that my mom votes for the Knicks all the time. I had no clue. Like, I had zero clue. She told me this year, she said, I am not voting for Julius Randle this year. I am boycotting that. And I think that's hilarious. But again, her being a fan, that means a lot to her. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, can some people get the opportunity that other people can't because the fans voted for them? Sure, right? No system is ever perfect. That's life. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Period. Point blank.
I'm somewhere in the middle of both of y'all on that. Like, I do think that fans, the space that they have here, especially in regards to making an impact on a sport that they watch so passionately, like they are bigger than the NBA is in the popularity sphere that it is. Like, yeah, give them a bone up to a certain extent. I do think that there are times where it gets a little too much. If you think about it, a couple of years ago, Zaza Pachulia, like 14,000 votes away from replacing Kawhi Leonard as a starter. Like, prime Kawhi Leonard and Zaza Pachulia at any point in Zaza Pachulia's career. I'll take a vintage 2005. He's not approaching Kawhi, but the fans almost made that happen. But specifically, I forgot the guy's name, but I'm not even gonna try to sing it. I am gonna try. No, I'm not. The "Someone Please Call 911" song. I tried it. There we go. John? There we go. He got, I was about to go into it. My throat was giving out already. Thank you for coming in clutch. Anyway, point being, he had gotten I don't know how many votes to gather together for Zaza Pachulia, which is why he was able to get where he was. A K-pop star named Bam Bam was the reason that Andrew Wiggins was able to be, she just likes the Warriors and wanted to root for Andrew Wiggins. So that's why Andrew Wiggins, literally, a Washington Post report said that he woke up and was like, what's going on? What All-Stars waking up going, oh my God, what is this? This isn't freaking, I don't know, Switch? This isn't, I don't know. It's not some kind of thunderstruck or anything where you just wake up and you got if you're playing an All-Star. If the All-Star recipient's like, how am I here? Then you really have to question the process. That's how I look at it. And bottom line, I mean, the guys he's replacing because of the voting and the guard and forward spot would have been Luka Doncic, Chris Paul, Devin Booker. Normally, you can look at Luka Doncic for his individual stats, right? Or Chris Paul and Devin Booker, both those guys being the key members of a 40-9 Suns team. Super great for that. However, if you look at that Suns team, in my opinion, there's two things. One, that Suns team's a team effort. Devin Booker's averaging 25 points per game. Chris Paul's tied with 10 assists per game to lead the league. but you have 8 different players in double figures. I think 6 of those 8 are averaging 6 of those 8 have played all 40 games. So you're getting production down the line. The Suns are a great team because of continuity. The Suns are a great team because their 2 best players are good, but they have a lot of other good players beyond that. So no, I don't think rewarding them with just all-star starting spots is just a given. I wouldn't replace them with Wiggins, but like not only do I not think that that's just a lock for them, but also they're both going to be on the all-star team anyway. So I don't see the issue with it. I think it does need to be retweaked, because if you look at Andrew Wiggins' stats, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Like if you actually look at his numbers, I was talking about this with a friend a couple days ago. They're exactly the same as last year. If anything, he's shooting worse. Better from 3, worse from field overall. He's done nothing different. It's everything around him the same. I mean, everything around him has changed. So, I mean, look, I should win America's Next Top Model because everything around me is great. Meanwhile, I haven't done a thing to myself. No, it's not how that works. You know what I mean? I'm sorry.
Slow down there, Tyra.
I'm just saying. Like, I get designer clothes. Oh, run me down the walkway. Like, nah, it takes a little bit more work than that. This guy's never had a rookie award, all NBA Player of the Week, month, year, day, hour. Like, the dude hasn't done anything. He was drafted, first overall. He was on the all-rookie team 8 years later, and now he's an all-star, having done what?
Well, this is a part of my issue, and you made a point that's saying that the other guys were going to make it anyway. You only get so many chances to be an all-star, and it's specifically an all-star starter. So, yeah, Andrew Wiggins made it, and, it's questionable that he should have made the starter team. But for the guys who actually should have made the starting team, it's like, well, damn, like you just throwing anybody in there and just saying, hey, replace me with this person. I really don't like that, but kudos to him, to each his own. I'm just gonna move on to the reserves. Who do you guys have in the West?
Hold on. I was about to say, let's be fair though. Let's be fair. When you were looking at Andrew Wiggins is a part of the front court. Okay, let's be fair. You have Draymond Green, he's been hurt, right? Kind of tough. Paul George, been hurt, kind of tough. Rudy Gobert. Who wants to see Rudy Gobert?
Nah, fam. Nah.
We don't want to see defense,
there,
right?
Nah. We just don't want to see him. No, I don't want to see him. Give me some defense. Just don't give me Gobert.
You got Karl Anthony Towns. Not better than Jokic, right? Carmelo Anthony and Anthony Davis. That's
Stop it. All right, enough. I've heard enough.
Okay, so
I've heard enough.
Now, yeah, so you can't really blame him. You know what I mean? It's still a shock, absolutely. But again, could that be filled with another guards position? I think that should be the case. I think 1 through 3 are guards, 4 and 5 are front courts. I think maybe changing that rule will kind of, disable a lot of gray areas or wiggle room for things like this to happen.
Okay. Well, fair. I'm with that. I can agree on that for sure. Alicia, you good? Got any thoughts? Good?
No, I'm good.
All right.
I'm ready.
We're going to keep this thing moving then. Real quick, each of us just rapid fire. Who's a lock for you that if they're not on the All-Star Reserves team, you going to ride?
Oh, I already.
I mean, I can tell you my team that I have for my reserves.
Dude, let's hear it.
I have Booker. I have Doncic. I have Gobert. I have Donovan Mitchell. I have Chris Paul. I put in Karl Anthony Towns just because he's been one of the top big men so far. I know we talk about Embiid and Jokic, but Karl Anthony Towns has been in that mix for me for big men. So I'm going to go with him. And yeah, that's my team. I think I'm missing one, but whatever, figure it out.
How many on the reserves? Is it 10? I mean, not 10. Is it 6?
I think it's 7.
7.
You get 12. Yeah, you get 12, so 7.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go, Kelsley. No, you were talking. I ain't cutting you. I ain't cutting you, sir.
I know, to answer the question, if there's one person in particular that does not become a reserve, and I would really have a fit on the show, is Jimmy Butler. I think what he's enabled is kind of something similar to Chris Paul as far as empowering your teammates, making them believe in themselves, and therefore they overproduce in a sense, right? Going back to a culture too, I think what he does for the Heat, again, he can have 8 points and the Miami Heat still win just because he does so many different things. And we're not even talking defense yet, where he is elite. But that's definitely one guy. I think they're going to be talking about him replacing Kevin Durant in the starting lineup, which I would love. But again, it's the Miami Heat. They're not really the sexy team per se as far as superstars is concerned. So that may not happen. But yeah, if he's not on the reserves, I'll be highly, highly, highly disappointed.
I love how you just threw in that he's gonna replace KD.
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, I don't want to see no Jimmy. He been alright, but I don't want to see no all-star starter out there. Like, but okay, but I see what you mean.
Gobert, I get it.
Oh, you got jokes. No.
I definitely get it.
No. I will say this. I will say this. I do think he deserves to be on there. I do agree with you, even though I think he's kind of overrated, like the way he's able to impact the team without necessarily scoring a ton of points. Like you said, 8 points and still being an impact. Yes, very much so. I'm with you on that. I don't think that only playing 32 games gives you like a walk-in to start, though. I think there got to be some type of limit, because otherwise you're going to have guys like Kobe who barely play, Penny Hardaway back in the day, guys who just were out most of the year, and then, all-star. Like, for what, dude? For what? 8 games of, 2010. That looks good. Small sample size. But at the same time, we know Jimmy Butler's body of work. It speaks for itself, so I'm not pushing too back on that. One guy I will be upset if he's not on that team, Darius Garland. Yeah. I think that the dude is balled out. He's really been a key reason why Cleveland has been just right on rolling. They had the loss of Colin Sexton. They've had the loss of Ricky Rubio, and they keep going. He's the engine, the guy making that work. The reason that you're looking at Evan Mobley possibly Rookie of the Year, the reason that Jared Allen is playing like a most improved player. He's just been humming that offense along, not being a total detriment of the defensive end, and I think is deserving of an all-star spot, especially this year, given where they are and where he's played. So if he's not there, yeah, there's going to be some hands. Maybe it's on a computer because I'm not near anyone, but that's going to happen. But with that, we got the all-star topic settled until next week. Look at the reserves and look back on that. But let's talk.
Can I add one?
You can. Why not?
Let's talk about Mr. Murray for the San Antonio Spurs. I think he's had a notable year. I think he's quite, again, you're talking about non-sexy team. Like San Antonio Spurs is the ugliest of them all, if you want to think about it. Even when they had superstars like Tim Duncan is like, Kawhi Leonard's like, but no, Murray is having a heck of a year. I think he single-handedly is keeping the Spurs not, what's the word I want to use? I can't think of the word I wanted to. Well, yeah, afloat, yeah, but not notable, but keeping them, gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
In the mix?
Afloat? Above water? Like, they're 19 and 30. Like, what are we talking? Like, keeping them
relevant. Here we go.
That's
the word.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that was so hard.
Relevant. I was like, what is this dude talking about? They're 19 and 32. So
yeah, I'm like, they're above the
board a little bit. Yeah, exactly.
They're not drowning.
I ain't saying a great thing.
They're not.
Right.
You 19 and 32, you ain't thriving right now,
Yeah, and he is in the West, so he probably won't get that bid just because there's so many good guards. Like you mentioned, the Chris Paul, the Doncic. Hello, Booker. What, like I'm Book, right? I think that's how the song goes. But anyways,
Wow.
That would be a guy. That would be nice. That would be an excellent story. But I think his time will definitely come within the next 2 years for sure.
I'm with it, and I agree. If he doesn't make it this year, I could see why, maybe, like you said, the record and the fact that his numbers compared to others, his numbers are really good for himself, like you said. Improvement every year, but just where he's coming up into a wall against others, I would agree with you. But at the same time, a definite deserved shout out to him for sure, because he's been balling out. Title of the show, plug. Anyway,
that's the first time we talked about the Spurs.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too. You're right.
I'm trying to get new teams in here. Let's do it.
There it is. Well, we got a little chance to talk about some.
It's 32 of them motherfuckers, or 30 of them. So we got to figure something out.
It's true. We got to do like a wheel or something. We pick a team, we talk about it.
That's good.
Let's do that.
That.
Okay, before we even get to that, though, let's talk about the trade season. By the time we get our next episode out, I think we should do it just like on the day of the trade deadline, the night of. I think it might be dope.
Mm.
We look at this plan in real time. We'll figure it out. But the point being, this is the last week we gonna be live before trades have been done, before the moratorium is over and it's all settled and done. So, I want to play a little game of buy or sell. I put some interesting teams that have been kind of talked about a little bit in regards to making trades. We kind of want to throw them around and see what we feel, whether they should buy or sell. And then if we want to nominate any of our own, then we can do that as well. So let's start with Chicago. Anybody want to take that first? Where are we at? Do we think that they're a buying team? We think they're a selling team? What they are right now is number one in the East. They have endured, of course, some injuries. They're out without the service of Alonzo Ball now for an extended stretch. They're without the services of Alex Caruso for an extended stretch, but they keep on going. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, both all-stars, both keying their teams to great wins. And they've also had other guys step up. Kobe White has been good since he's been in. Ayo Dosunmu has been just an amazing, underrated pickup for the Chicago Bulls team. You've had at different times Troy Brown Jr. step up. Matt Thomas knocked down threes. Nikola Vucevic, who started off pretty slow, has come around as of late. So as you see this team, you realize that they have some holes. Definitely some more shooting would be nice. I mean, they take threes at an accurate clip, but they don't take a lot of them. They make them, but they don't take a lot of them. Also, a wing defender for those Kevin Durant's, for those Giannis Antetokounmpos. Those guys would be great. So when you look at this Bulls team, we'll start with Alicia. Where do you think, should they be kind of holding pat, just riding it out and see what happens come the playoffs? Should they look to, obviously try to make some moves, or even let go with some pieces and try to retweak?
I can't even make a definitive answer, because I think the Bulls, we are all clear that they're not going to win a championship this season. Does anyone here think that they're going to win a championship?
I'm going to say with the way that the NBA is right now, it's very slight, but I could see it. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay, so it's a no. Okay, so pretty much I think they should stay tagged for what they have. I feel like they have some pieces, some young pieces, like you mentioned, young. You got Kobe. You also got Alex Caruso, who's injured. You got what's the Bull brother name?
Lonzo.
Lonzo, yeah.
If you don't know him, of course you don't think they'll make the finals.
Sorry, the first one, and I forgot already. Sorry, Lamar or whatever dad's name is. It's what is his dad's name?
LeVar.
LeVar. That was really cool.
No, you can't disrespect someone like
we're
that.
Talking to a Laker fanatic here.
That's true too. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I apologize. LeVar, Lonzo, LaMelo, Leangelo, whatever.
You got it. There we are.
The Caruscos. Yep. Hello.
L it up. But honestly, I feel like they have pieces that they can wait to see, to come back, to develop them, to come back this season or maybe for next year. I do think if they are trying to win now, they need somebody who can probably defend Giannis. If they want to look in that market, do they have some trades? They have some restrictions, I think, that they can't trade any of their first round picks. So honestly, I think they should just stay tagged right now. I don't think that they should be buying.
That's fair. Kelsley?
See, like when I see this Chicago Bulls team, I think of the 2013 to 2015 Atlanta Hawks, always in the top of the league as far as the East is concerned. But when you look at their team, their makeup, it doesn't give you championship, right? I'll even go to the extent of the Philadelphia 76ers, who had the best record the first year that Doc was there. But then I'm looking at them like they're not really championship ready. And I'm looking at this Chicago Bulls team, and I see the same exact thing. A team that can have a lot of regular season success, but then once it comes down to, crunch time, once it comes down to where you get paid for real, the postseason, it's not the same. And when you're looking at Donovan, the head coach, his track record, he's a hell of a coach. What he was able to accomplish in Oklahoma City when Kevin Durant left, and he just had, Russell Westbrook taking over, like that was incredible. But then again, that was a situation where he had regular season success, but when it came down to the nitty and the gritty in the postseason, SIT hit the fan, right? So that's kind of how I see it. Now, as far as selling, they don't need to sell, but if they were to get a piece, and I kid you not, if Evan Mobley went to Chicago Bulls, and you have a rim runner, you have a shot blocker, you have a rim protector that is athletic that can run with your guys, such as the Leans and the Rosens of the world. I think they should go ahead and try to pursue that. I love Vucevic. He's great. But I think if they have a guy that can run like a gazelle, such as a Mobley, even like a guy like Rudy Gobert, let's not, shut that down, or even a Miles Turner, right? I think that can definitely give the Bulls a different makeup to where their chances of winning the NBA championship would head up just a little bit more than what they are right now.
I am so glad that you didn't just shout out Evan Mobley and that you gave some other folks some love in terms of some realistic draft picks. I'm sitting there going, I would love the fit of Evan Mobley in Chicago too, but outside of 2K or Basketball GM, there is no way on this planet Earth or any others. But I agree with you. Like, you then gave some ideas of some good fits, archetypes of that type of player that would make
realistic,
it great.
Correct.
Exactly. So you definitely want to have that. And I'm with you on that. I'm going to just say, I don't think so. I think they're in a position where, listen, the East is wide open right now. Brooklyn is right now, as we're recording, they're playing with James Harden for the first time in a couple of games, and Kyrie because of the away game, but now without Kevin Durant, and not without Joe Harris. There's a lot of just different issues and qualifiers you got to take into account with Brooklyn, right? So there's that. With Milwaukee, they have, this isn't even, I think, that sneaky of an observation, but they've not been playing well. They just haven't. Now, you could look at that and say, hey, this is just, a championship team that is going through the doldrums, and don't worry, they'll snap out of it and get back. But I can tell you from personal experience, 2021, folks said about the Los Angeles Lakers. 2021, folks said about the Miami Heat. I think both teams went out in the first round playing exactly how they had played all season long. So just saying, there's hope. I know Kelsey got a rhetorical, but let me finish. Let me finish though, okay? But I think that Chicago should take advantage. I think if there's a trade that's advantageous for them, that can get them a significant upgrade for some of the young guys, do that. DeMar DeRozan's 32. He's not going to play like this next year. He hasn't played like this. He's played well. I've watched a lot of him in San Antonio. He has played well. He has not played to this level. Do you really think a Renaissance season at 32 is going to repeat itself at 33 with the defense being even anywhere near it's been? I don't know about that. This has been great to convince Zach LaVine to re-sign long-term, but I think right now you have a window, just like Suns did last year. Take advantage of that and try to make it happen. But if nothing comes up, then don't do it. No reason to mortgage your entire future for, a really tough second-round loss. Now you can go, Kelsey. I'm going to let you finish.
Yeah, that LA and Miami thing that you try to pull,
it happened. It's
I don't
true.
Agree with it. I don't agree with it because, Corbin, you have to put in perspective.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
This offseason coming out of 2020, which was the bubble, this and the fourth, right? Their last game was well into September, October, if I'm not mistaken. And there was only a 7-week offseason. That is the shortest in North America sports history.
Yeah, we were there too.
7-week, huh?
We were there too. We won, remember?
Correct. Absolutely. Which is why when you're talking about the season afterwards, when they did not perform well because they were tired, because they're the only ones that were playing for so long.
Well, listen, I get what you're trying to say, but y'all didn't even put up a fight. Y'all went to Milwaukee and said, here, give us the win. We got injured repeatedly against the Phoenix Suns. Let's not rehash history. It's history, right?
But at the same time, too, that was the biggest blessing in disguise, too. Because when you look at the Golden State Warriors and guys like Poole that got a lot of reps, that got a lot of playing time because of the injuries from Klay Thompson. Steph Curry kind of wishy-washy as far as injuries is concerned last year, too. He was able to eat up those minutes. The same thing with Miami Heat. Gabe Vincent was playing. He was a G League guy that played 2 to 3 consistent weeks of minutes because of COVID, right? And he's reaping benefits of that this season. Guys like Max Strus reaping the benefits of that this season, right? So when you're talking about they were playing kind of poor this and the fourth, this context is extremely important. And they only had a 7-week off season, just like how the Lakers were, even though the Lakers tore their whole team apart, so they don't even have any fruits to reap, like how Miami did, just like how the Warriors did. Alicia, please, by all means.
Whoa.
I'm going to stop this right.
Wait, time out. I have the series stats.
Corbin, I'm going to give you Corbin, I'm going to give you a smooth 40 seconds, brother, and then we're going to move on because you two can do this all day. And as the listeners know, I am the only rational person here. So honestly, I'm just gonna before we freaking make morning here because it's already late. Let's keep it moving. 40 seconds on the clock, brother. Speak your piece to retort this, and then we are moving on to the next buyer.
Okay. Real quick. I'm just trying to say I get what you're saying, Kelsley, but y'all laid an egg. I think you got to put that into perspective. Like Milwaukee had harder opponents against the Atlanta Hawks the first time in the playoffs in a couple of years than Miami. Jimmy Butler, the guy who is going to be an all-star star this year, 14 points on 29% shooting. That's playoff series. Like, this is just an example. You guys were bad. The Lakers at least put up a fight. Then we got a little cocky. Then we got injured. We can rehash some other time, Kelsley. I just want to say, 40 seconds is a time crunch. I can't talk now. Alicia, take over. Or Kelsley, I don't know.
If LeBron didn't make that heave, y'all was not even getting out of play in. So let's stop it there. Okay. Moving on.
All right. We're going to move on to the next buyer seller. Another clutch guy that we have is Ben Simmons on the 76ers. Are we buying or selling on this team, guys? What do you think is going to happen at the trade deadline?
I'm going to be quick. They're just going to sit on their hands. I don't think they're going to do anything.
Okay, we're all in the same boat here. Yeah, we're going to move on. Another team, the Phoenix Suns. They got to the finals last year. I think that Phoenix, I feel like they can add another piece. I want to say Thaddeus Young from the Spurs, just to add something that more defense, honestly, but they're just fluctuating in terms of the young man's name. It's late. I'm forgetting his name. Cam Johnson. Yes, thank you so much. They've just been, great. I feel like they're like one more piece to being away. And I feel like having somebody who's known as a Giannis stopper and Thaddeus Young can help them out long term. So that's going to be my throw out there. But
I like it. Kelsey, you want to go next?
That's a valid point. I mean, the way they're currently constructed, I mean, there's really not much to add to it. I think what they have can win a championship. I think with the leadership that they have, I think through, the trials and tribulations, I think, I'm about to go on a tangent, but trials and tribulations help bring a bond to a team together, right? You've seen it throughout history, including the Milwaukee Bucks. I think what happened in the bubble was the best thing that ever happened to the Phoenix Suns franchise. And they have that core and they're developing a culture. And I think they're fine. Thaddeus Young, that's a great add-in, nothing too crazy, but I think they can win how they are currently constructed.
Okay. I'm with the both of you. I think that as of right now, where they are, sure, they can do this, They're 41-9 right now as we record. They're beating the Brooklyn Nets. They will win this one. So top of the West by a wide margin. Think that if you are looking to tweak anything, you definitely wouldn't mind having a little bit of extra shooting. You definitely wouldn't mind having a Thad Young type, like you said, small
Kelly
ball five.
Olynyk.
You go.
Kelly Olynyk. To take away Saric is his name?
Yeah, Saric. Yeah, exactly. Out all year.
ACL, so that would be perfect. Kelly Olynyk.
And then if you play Thad Young, if you acquire Thad Young, that gives you the ability to play big. That gives you the ability to play small, but with a guy who can actually play the five. Right now, they've been trying out Mikal Bridges. They've been trying to use Jay Crowder. Both those guys aren't comfortable there, and you can tell. The five is just one position out of their element. So you get someone like Thad Young who not only can do that, but also bring some passing, from that position. You're not lacking from that for the Suns offense. You keep the ball moving. If you can get that, you're great. But if not, look, you're sitting pretty right now. So, why mess up a huge thing? I wouldn't do anything big, but I also don't think they're going to do anything big. So I think we're good there. I think they should be advantageous buyers, just like Chicago.
It's like how you just put the Chicago part out there.
Just sprinkle a little shot down.
Yeah, I got to tie it together. All right, what's next, y'all?
Another team on the list was Sacramento. Now, Sacramento, blow it up. But honestly, Sacramento is blued up. So I don't even know where they go from here. Honestly, like everyone on the team can go. Everyone is for sale. I feel like they're a 99-cent store that is going out of business. Everything is for sale. Okay. Everybody can go because this team, this franchise in general, honestly, you know, I'm saying a lot about New York, but Sacramento has been the bottom of the bottom. Bottom of the bottom.
Since Vladdy. Since
Vladdy and C Webb. And I used to love that team, but it's been 20 years since that team has happened. So honestly, I think they're below the luxury tax. Blow the shit up. I don't know where to even start. I think they tried to leverage and speak about Ben Simmons in the past, about him possibly not being on the table. Sacramento, you do not have the leverage to say who and who is not on the table for your team in the future. And I just think that the way that they did Boogie, it's just like, where is the direction going? I know that they've brought people into the franchise to start over in ownership and GMs, but they have just no actual direction. And I think that it just needs to start from the top, and then they need to work their way down to see where the hell they're going to go. But honestly, everything is for sale. Throw the team away. Go to Seattle. Good night.
Oh, wow. Man, I like that take, though. Go to Seattle. Yeah, I think they should be buying up bad contracts like Al Horford. That's not a good contract. Try to get and they only have 1 year left, I believe, or expiring contracts, but mostly picks. I think they should go the direction of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Houston Rockets. Let's go ahead and acquire as much, assets as possible for what you have on your team, and De'Aaron Fox can play. You can definitely get some stuff for him. Halliburton, he's been having a heck of a year too. I don't know if you want to take him away. I think that's a guy that you should keep. But it's definitely sell time. Let's go ahead and try to get as much picks as possible and get rid of all the contracts so that you have a little bit of wiggle room to potentially try to sell somebody to come to your organization in a free agency.
I'm with it. I think right now, they find themselves, the Kings, in a spot where they find themselves every year. We should try to make the playoffs year, fill in the blank of not making the playoffs, but roster that's inequipped to do so, talent that's inequipped to lead them, and a coaching staff that's ill-equipped to put the talent together. So, yeah, short of selling them to Seattle, I just think that, sell. Like, try for once to do the rebuild thing the right way and not blow it up, halfway through, and not try to abruptly win now. But I don't know. It's Sacramento. Who knows? So with that, let's go to, what do you think?
That Harrison Barnes contract. Ooh, it just hurts my heart.
Thank you. And it hurt immediately. Then it hurt as soon as it happened. Like, you knew it was a problem. You knew it was a problem. All right. So I'm going to throw these two together. Two recent champions, who have just stumbled as of late. Milwaukee Bucks and Los Angeles Lakers. Should either of these teams be buyers or sellers? I'm not going to answer this for fear that I talk too long, so I'm going to let y'all go and rapid fire.
Quickly, I think the Bucks need to replace PJ Tucker. I think that is the worst move and loss that they had. That is being underplayed this whole time. Milwaukee. PJ Tucker is so quintessential to that team and them winning the championship. I don't know who they get to replace. I think possibly Robert Covington is somebody that can kind of slip in, but he's not a great defender as PJ was. And I also think that Brook Lopez being out for a formidable amount of time is also hurting them. So I don't know if they can really find anyone in the market that can replace PJ Tucker. But honestly, that was the biggest loss for me in terms of this team. But I think they should stay packed. But if they find somebody that they can kind of leverage to get somebody in that spot, then they should go for it. As for the Lakers, I don't know. They need Jesus. They need prayer. They need LeBron's knee to come back. They need Russell Westbrook to find a complete jump shot. They need AD and his full brow to be healthy. I don't know. God bless. Godspeed.
Kelsley, please.
The Lakers situation is so sticky, sticky, icky. It's just damn. I'm sure the management is just I didn't see this coming. at the same time, too, it's nothing that you can really blow up and start fresh again, because then now if you're starting fresh again, essentially it's going to be two years back to back. There's no way to get a some type of cohesionness, for a team, and it's a team game. It's not an individual sport. So it's like they can't buy, they can't sell. They're like stuck with the situation that they currently have right now, which is kind of shitty if you are a Lakers fan. And as far as the Bucks, a lot of people said that the Suns' opportunity was last year, and they were not going to get another opportunity again. I kind of feel like the ceiling has been, reached as far as the Milwaukee Bucks is concerned, even though they've been fighting a lot of injuries, the Brook Lopez's of the world, et cetera, et cetera. Even Drew Holiday kind of been inconsistent as far as the beginning of the season is concerned. But I feel like they maxed their ceiling, and teams in the East are just getting that much better, and we're not seeing that growth, from the Milwaukee Bucks. So yeah, and then their track record as the coach, he has great regular seasons and then shits the bed in the playoffs. Is again, both teams, they really can't buy or sell. They're kind of stuck with the situation, and I hate to be the GMs for both of them.
Quickly, I just want to say Buddy Hield should have probably been on the Lakers a long time ago.
Ooh, that would have been a nice add-on. That would have been.
Okay,
been really
Corbin.
Nice.
Yeah,
the floor is yours.
No, listen, I'm speechless at this point. I don't know why I let y'all go first, but I did, and I have to own that. But with that being said, let's wrap this baby up. Let's do let's go. We got.
Now he paid it.
I'm just gonna keep moving. We're going. Real quick, y'all see anything on Twitter y'all like? NBA Twitter, the good, the bad. I will say I've enjoyed the WNBA coverage. It's good that it's getting this hype that it deserves. I think a lot of that starts with the interest level. I think on Twitter has been a lot more of it. Plus, my Phoenix Mercury making some moves potentially, so I will be staying tuned on that. Aside from that, I mean, it's NBA Twitter. Come on now. Hey, got anything?
Yeah. I mean, the only two things that are notable for me today was, of course, the Liz Cambage tweet about, the coach being paid 4 times more than she is, and her having to upgrade her seat in first class from coach. Honestly, it's about time that these players are paid what they are worth. I just don't think it's right that some of them have to have the option of having to get paid overseas, like having the overseas teams pay them to sit out in WNBA seasons because they want them to become completely healthy and full and ready for their season. Like, there's a disconnect there with the WNBA game in general for me. Like, I haven't been all in from the start. I've gradually been watching the game as it's grown in the past couple of years. But the way that I get that the gap of TV money and CBA and all of that other stuff is different than the NBA. But honestly, I feel like owners should be shelling out more for these franchises. These are world-class athletes just as well as the men are. I feel like they deserve more money. Like, when I read Brianna Stewart's contract of 228, I'm like, 228? I know tech guys that are making more than that. So I just feel like there's just such a disconnect in terms of the WNBA and the wealth gap and the pay, but I'm going to leave that right there. Also, I just want to shout out really quickly Brian Flores formerly of the Dolphins team, and now who has, made ways into the NFL and, teams in particular in terms of the Dolphins and the Broncos, and also the Giants are mentioning it because of racism. And that's been going on in the NFL for a very long time, since probably the inception of it. I don't know whether or not this is going to really change the needle, but honestly, he sacrificed his career today by doing this. So congratulations to him. Shout out to him on Black History Month for even setting the tone like that. Like, I am completely here for it. And he's from Brooklyn. So shout out to that brother right there.
Yeah. I'm a Miami guy, and what he's done for the Dolphins, I was so excited, even though we were so close to making it to the postseason, but I was excited for the next year. And to say how flabbergasted I was to find out that he was fired. Even though their starting quarterback missed 4 weeks, and then they still found a way to win 8 games in a row. 8 games in a row, no matter what part of the season that's extremely hard to do. All right. And then their defense is like their defense was tough. Anyways, I'm glad for him. He's stepping up because obviously this is blatantly something is wrong in the NFL, and for him to not have a job, or for him to find out that he's not going to get the job that he was going to be interviewed for 3 days prior to, just because of a missed typo, that's kind of crazy too. And to piggyback off of Liz Cambage, I love the WNBA game. My first basketball game was a Miami Soul game back in the day. And I feel like the WNBA, when it first came out, was just that brand new shiny toy that everybody loved. There was a lot of hype towards it. And then when you got to like 2008 to like 2014, there was just a lull of, there was no growth. And part of that must have been from the commissioner. And I can't remember the old commissioner, but I know the new commissioner now is really trying to reinnovate, the image, the women's image. And it's crazy how Becky Hammond is going to get the money that she's going to get, partly because she was sought after NBA team. So in order for her to make that jump, she had to get paid. But then also too, this could be the start of the women getting paid what they're supposed to be getting paid. This could be, a start of something great. It's unfortunate that the WNBA season is so short. Therefore, less games, less pay, but I do think that they have to do better, and they're trying. And I see the game evolving. Look how popular those WNBA orange hoodies were, right? And the NBA players are starting to embrace the game as well. And I think with the NBA, right, it really is going to start with the NBA. The NBA players are going to be the ones that are going to lead and change the direction for the women's game, because now we can play WNBA on NBA 2K, right? So it's a start. And a start of something new is hard. When you're trying to break a bad habit, it is hell, right? I know I don't smoke cigarettes, but I know people that try to stop cold turkey. The first couple of days is like, But the first days are ugly, but I definitely see a beautiful ending to this. When you're talking about 2030, there's gonna be girls that are gonna be televised from early high school. So that's my take on that.
You guys said it so eloquently. I think that the need for these conversations is there, of course, by the way, but also that these, as unfortunate as these scenarios are, these situations are, that, giving a space like we are here, being able to have these conversations in person, podcast, Twitter, whatever the case may be, to have the dialogue to address that these are issues, and the minute that we accept that they are and try to figure out how to look at solving them, the better it'll be for everyone. Like, first is looking at it as, okay, this is an issue, and not just, okay, whatever. You both described the impact of just, the WNBA in general, obviously the NFL and the stuff the efforts they've been up to, but like, stuff needs to change. And so I think by having these conversations, hopefully people start to engage more in this, and we can try to make some active, like, concrete change. But that's all I got here as well, y'all. Before we close out, we got any last takes, thoughts? I don't know if we want to do call it how you see it, because I called it right last week, I think, unless I picked the Lakers. But we're gonna throw it over to Kelsley, see if we got anything there.
Yeah. I don't even know how many games that you got. I know there's a few where you kind of got it on the nail. I do have some details on how we're going to do it, because I finally got the formula. We're gonna get into it the next time we air. But yeah, call it how you see it. It's definitely gonna be a fun game. And when it comes to the postseason, I can tell you, I'm about to go ahead and get all your money.
I'm scared. Listen,
I'm here with it.
I like to call myself broke, but somebody else got to pay for me, baby. Because listen.
Put your money where your mouth is. Don't talk.
I don't gamble my money. I don't.
I'm not
either.
A gambler. That's why I stick to what I'm right. I don't talk much.
Yeah, because the Lakers are trash.
That is a lie. That is a lie. Like, what are you talking about, Corbin?
Hey, listen, when I do talk, if it's money on the line, I win or I run.
Anyway, that's the difference between Lakers fans and Knicks fans. Like, Knicks fans will still be loud as hell no matter if they're the worst team in the NBA. Y'all Lakers fans, y'all go ahead and put a brown plastic bag on your head and pretend like y'all don't know nothing.
You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. I got to finish.
Ooh,
All right.
nowhere to walk away.
Hey,
Nowhere to run.
you gotta find. Okay, we're done. Anyways, yes, I think that's a fitting note to end this Let's Ball Out episode. How y'all feeling about that?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right, listen, y'all, you know what it is. We appreciate y'all yet again for rocking with us here. We'll have our social media up soon. We gonna grow this thing out. But for now, stay tuned for next week. We'll get a schedule out here. We'll get it going. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But thank y'all so far. Any feedback? Hit us up on Instagram. We'll real quick drop them all. I'm gonna drop mine at Corbin NBA. Who wants to go next on that?
Yo, shout out to Miguel too. Great feedback.
Love
gotta
Miguel.
listen to all of our stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him.
Miguel.
Really appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, in the sports business classroom too. I know some
SBC,
others
Shout out to our
are
media.
listening too.
Yeah, our media
Absolutely.
broadcasting crew. They've been giving us great feedback too. So to whoever is listening to this, thank you. You know, thank you for listening. Thank you for lending us your ears in the allotted time that we speak. And we really appreciate it. Like we said, we're going to try to continue to grow, get a schedule, get our things together. We're getting our feet wet here. We're just touching the surface a little bit. Okay.
Mhm.
So bear with us as we grow further. But we really thank you guys for listening. And we will see you guys next week for the trade deadline.
That's
All right,
right.
y'all.
Mama, I love you. P.O.P. Holding it
Hold it
down.
down.
I'm done with y'all. Just like the Lakers, we will return, y'all.